Hello everyone, and welcome to step 3 in setting up a $6 a month 25 slot Bukkit Minecraft server. Easily, simply. Whether you came from the manual install of actually manually installing all of the packages, which are Java HTOP and Nano, plus downloading the Craft Bukkit jar and creating a start shell script, or whether you came from the automatic one where you just typed in 3 commands and everything was done for you. We are now completely caught up, so this will be universal between those two. So they kind of merge back into here. And so, quick on how to use the Linux terminal. You can use the Linux terminal quite effectively, only knowing a couple commands. So I'm going to teach those to you real quick. For anyone who saw the manual version, you've been exposed to these a little bit. For anyone, but this is going to be a more in-depth explanation. And for anyone who hasn't seen or did the automatic version, this is going to be new. So this is going to definitely be necessary to know. So if you do cd, that stands for change directory. The current directory I'm in right now is my home directory, and if I cd ... that's going one directory up, one folder up. So I do that, and I'm now at the root of my server. It has everything here. This is the equivalent of being here in Windows, right on your C drive. This is the Linux equivalent. This is probably SDA1. So anyhow, from here you'll see this folder, folder called Bukkit Server. If you don't, look for where you originally started the shell script from. If you didn't start it from here, if you started it from like inside home or whatever, then look in there for your Bukkit folder. So it'll be Bukkit Server. So we're just going to cd into it. Cd Bukkit Server. ls lists all the files inside of your Bukkit folder, or inside of any given folder. In this case, your Bukkit Server folder. And so ls lists all the files and folders. Things in red are like jar files, programs, things like that. .sh, if it's green, it means it's an executable sh script. White files are generally like text files, logs, things like that. Dark blue are generally folders, and that's probably all the colors you need to know for now. So, and those can vary based on if you have configuration set differently, but this is the default. So to start up your Bukkit server for the first time, I'm going to run into screen. Screen is a command that basically, originally, when you think about it, if I open a command prompt here, and I start some kind of process, ping google.com, whatever, and of course even Google doesn't reply to me forever alone. No, but if I start pinging Google and I close this window, the ping stops, that process stops. With an SSH, even though this is a separate server running, in my case, in Las Vegas, Nevada, if I close this window, whatever I'm doing is going to stop. However, if I put it in a screen, then it's kind of a form of, I don't know if this is the right word, but multiplexing, getting a bunch of different screens, bunch of different kind of sessions, and detaching them from this window, and instead of having this window kind of show a peek into what they're doing. So you can run things in screen, and then if you close this window, that process will continue running, which is great when you have a Minecraft server, because you don't want to have to leave this window open the whole time you want your server to run. And what if this computer during the night disconnects or reboots for updates? Well, guess what? Your other server is now no longer functioning either, as far as the actual server itself is running, but the Minecraft server isn't running, the Bukkit server isn't running. So you run into an issue, obviously. So if you screen it, you put it in a screen, you're kind of isolating it, and then if you close this window, you can go back to that session later on, or you can leave that session running in the background without any window open to display it. Hopefully that made sense. If it didn't, feel free to ask questions in the description. I'll try to explain it better. But anyway, I'm going to just type screen, and that's going to give me a new screen. So ls, and I see craft bucket, jar, startserver.sh, and wget.log. Don't need wget.log. But if you want to see what's in it, we can do Nano. Nano is the built-in text editor that, built-in as in it's right now there. It's built-in whether you did the manual version or the automatic version. They both installed Nano. Nano is a very simple text editor, and as you can see in my wget log, I got something from Bukkit, and I got something from, actually it looks like that's it. So really not all that useful. And it looks like here it timed out and whatever. So I'm just going to exit Control-X. Generally, when you're running a process in Linux, unless otherwise specified, Control-Z stops the process. No matter what system you're on, Control-Z is universal for stopping a process in Linux, in this case CentOS. So, real quick, if I do ls again and I see my files here, I can do /startserver.sh, and that will start up the server, and that will start CraftBukkit 1.4.2 r0.2.jar. So I'm just going to enter that, and my Minecraft server starts up, and as you can see here, it didn't have any kind of files like op, any of that kind of stuff there already, so it's making all those. It's also spawning a completely new world. And so just for the heck of it, let's log into this server and see what it looks like. Let's multiplayer direct connect. 199.241.137.215 is my IP address. That IP address is the one that you use to connect with SSH, same IP address. Click on join server. And then we wait. Let's try this. Let me just get rid of this real quick. Add server 199.241.137.215, and click on done and see if it finds it. Yep, found it. And let's connect. There we go. And this is our server. This is running on a special instance of Bukkit that we're going to get rid of in just a second, because we're going to close it down now that we've generated all the files. But however, this is, your Bukkit server is currently working at this point, and so if you just want to play vanilla Minecraft with no plugins, you can have at it. That's not what our goal is here, so I'm going to stop this from running. So I'm going to type stop and press enter, and it's going to stop running. It's going to save all the chunks. Now if I do ls, there are 16 files/folders here. We have ops.txt, permissions, we have bukkit.yml. So let me start by saying we need to configure some of these in order to be optimal for a server setup. And so I'm going to do sudo, or don't need sudo, nano bukkit.yml. This is my Bukkit config. So this is some basic Bukkit configuration files, connection throttle, plugin profiling, blah 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 blah. Probably not stuff you're too interested in changing. You may want to change the spawn limits, the ticks for animal spawns, but most of the stuff you're going to care about, honestly, is in your server.properties file. So nano server.properties, and inside of here you're going to have generator settings if you have a custom world generator, whether the nether's allowed, blah 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 blah. The server port you're running on, by default it's 25565. If you change it to something else, then here when you connect to it, you're going to have to put a colon and then the port that you're using. So obviously isn't going to work because the server isn't running, but it's just an example. If I go over here, again, max build height, really changing that's not going to change your max build height, sorry. If you want a custom seed for the world generation, if you do that you will have to delete your world folders. And a bunch of other stuff here. Game mode, the difficulty, this is the default game mode. How many players are allowed on your server max, let's change this to 25. And the rest of it, message of the day if you want to put, testing server here or whatever. And save modified buffer, so that was just Control X like it says, and then Y for yes, and then enter to save the file. ls again. And we'll also want to edit our ops.txt, so nano ops.txt. And we'll put in whoever we want to be opt or operator on our server. For any of you who don't know, that's like admin, basically. So I'm going to put my name, and I'm going to put Joey Fred. Just like, for example, if I had multiple people going on the server that were going to be op. And I can exit, and that's saved. And ls again. Nano permissions.yml. Permissions.yml at this point isn't going to be something you should probably concern yourself with, but yeah, at some point you may want to look into that. Banned IPs and banned players, if you have any players you specifically want to ban, like, that one friend who always just comes on and trolls everyone and drives you nuts. Well, there you go. You can put it in there. You can either ban an IP address or a player or both, and that'll prevent them from getting onto your server. The world, world nether, and world the end are the 3 folders for the different world files, so if you delete those, everything you've done in that Minecraft world is going to be gone. So, with that being said, if we start up our Bukkit server again, so /start, actually no, yeah, /start server.sh, you will see that then, if we refresh this, servers right here that go into it, and everything, I'm right where I was, but instead now I am op. and let's make sure it loaded that. Yeah. By default, Bukkit doesn't have separate colors for names if you're op or not. Once you install something like Essentials, that'll all be there. And so thank you for watching this tutorial. In the next one, we're going to be downloading and installing a couple plugins showing you how to do some basic configuration of files and how to get your Minecraft server basically running. So there's a link to that, as you can see on the screen right now. And I will see you then, and that'll probably be the last tutorial for this series. So thank you for watching.